What is up, everybody? It's your boy Andrew Esquire here, American attorney over here in Asia, currently in Bangkok, Thailand, coming to you at 10:36 p.m., which should be a lovely morning to you over there today. Going to be jumping in today talking about Ron DeSantis dropping out, but not dropping the Disney case, because there's a lot of comments about that as we transition out of national politics and back to Florida politics. Also, I'm a couple minutes late. Sorry about that, guys, because I was setting up the premiere that I just finished editing for after this stream. So after the stream, you'll get redirected to this premiere I was working on a tax expert, which has confirmed that Disney mishandled Reedy Creek's taxes. So it's not just old crazy Andrew, ranting about it and being unhinged. Nope. They got another tax expert, not somebody who's a YouTuber, just a random bro who confirmed that they mishandled the tax. So that one's going to play after this. You guys are going to see that, going to see the backup after this. Yeah, just really trying to spoil it with content. Also, I want to say real quick, guys, that I've gotten comments from folks that like my shorter content, that like my shorter videos. So I am going to try to make sure that I do shorter videos, even if sometimes they might overlap. Sometimes they might be a little bit repetitive if you catch the entire stream. But I know that people can't catch all the streams, particularly if I'm doing one a day. Maybe sometimes there's somebody who can only catch the evening, but then the morning. I want to make sure that there's something for everybody. Also, real quick, let me get two shout outs. So my first shout out is for Scorpid Red Dragon for being the first person in here today. You were the first person to comment. So shout out Scorpid for being the first to drop some love in the chat. Second of all, Tiger's dad, member for 3 months, says Rhonda DeSantis. Rhonda. I just think of that song, like Rhonda, Rhonda, oh help me, Rhonda. That old song. You know, I don't know. There's been a lot of oldies in my head, probably because maybe it's because the old guys here in Thailand at some of the beer bars are playing old school music for some reason. I don't know. It's crazy whenever I'm walking around. So I think some oldies got in my head from somebody. But it's good to see you guys here, old and young. What's up? We are indeed live. I appreciate the live emojis and all the members in the chat. It is a glorious sea of blue, thanks to the generous donors on this channel, which I am very, very, very thankful for. Also, shout out to Rumble. What's up, Crazy Warlock W. Ralph? Links, all you guys over there on Rumble. Good to see you guys there. Shout out to the Rumble ghetto. And then, of course, we've got the locals, DGens. Good to see everybody there as well. So we've got a nice round out here today. So before we get into Rhonda and everything that's going on there, we're going to start this by looking at and taking a look at what is going on with some free speech issues. And this is something I haven't streamed elsewise, but it's kind of a warm-up. I always like a good warm-up. And I want to bring up Dana White and Sean Strickland. I don't know if you guys have seen these videos. I wanted to post them. Independently, or trying to make a whole video out of it, but I think I could just tuck it in here with you guys, because it's very important to deal with freedom of speech, and I think it's very critical. So this interview here with Dana White, I think, is very important. I think everybody should pay attention to it. So let's listen into what people were asking Dana after he had to deal with some backlash from Sean Strickland, and we'll play the Sean Strickland video after.
About, like, you obviously give a long leash to your fighters about, what they can say when they are up there with a UFC microphone, and you are getting into territory of homophobia, transphobia. Like, is there?
I don't give anybody a leash.
Well, I'm saying
a leash.
I'm like
free speech. Control what people say. Going to tell people what to believe. Going to tell people, I don't fucking tell any other human being what to say, what to think, and there's no leashes on any of them. What is your question?
I'll move on though.
Yeah, probably a good idea. That's ridiculous to say I give somebody a leash. Free speech, brother. People can say whatever they want and they can believe whatever they want.
Boom. So that one, we need more people like Dana White who are willing to stick up for people's speech, because people are allowed to say whatever they want, left, right, center, whatever. And we need more people sticking up for it and shutting down these reporters. And look how quickly they fold. They never have anybody challenge them. They never have anybody push back. So the second you push back, they just fold like a stack of cards. They have no spine whatsoever. You saw it with Pierre Poilievre, who challenged the reporter. These reporters are just absolutely dropping left and right. Pink Western Civilization for 5 said, can you change the background of pink curtains? No. That is not gonna happen. But I do appreciate the joke there. And if you guys didn't see, that was based on a reaction to Sean Strickland. And by the way, nobody is showing the full Sean Strickland video. So just real quick, in case you haven't seen it, this is the full Sean Strickland video in which he says nothing. If you listen to it, he says nothing about being gay. Well, listen up.
You're in Toronto. Welcome. Glad to hear it. It's been great.
Are you Canadian?
Of course I am.
Are you part of the fucking opposition? Are you?
I don't know how to phrase that.
You got like. Yeah.
Well, I did want to ask.
Did you vote for Trudeau?
I'm not going to say.
And let me tell you something right now. The man says he's not going to say. Like, if you ask him, did you vote for Biden? He's like, well, I'm not going to say. That's none of your business. He voted for fucking Biden.
Sean,
so hey,
Sean, I'm glad you had great experiences.
So this is what I'm talking about, you guys. The enemy of Canada.
Sure.
All right.
That's what it's got to be. It's got to be. We've got a pretty supportive gay and lesbian community in this city. I did want to ask you about something you wrote a couple of years ago. You said, if I had a gay son, I would think I'd.
Oh, look, another. I'm saying to you, the swamp, you guys, the swamp.
You become a champion, you become a star, and someone.
Let me ask you something. Are you gay?
Have you had the chance to interact with a more diverse?
Are you? Let me know.
Here we go. This is great.
Well, no, I'm asking. This is a part of. Are you a gay man?
I'm an ally of the community.
Okay.
I love that. I'm an ally of the community. Yeah. I got news for you. If
you had a son and he was like, you had a son, he was gay, you'd be like, oh man, you don't want a grandkid?
No problem with it.
Oh man, well, dude, you're a weak fucking man, dude. You're part of the
and that's what he says right here. That's the worst thing he says, is that he's a weak man for that, right? He didn't say anything about that particular guy in his sexual proclivities or choices. He just said he's a weak man for that in relation to his kid. Right now, let's continue.
Problem. You elected Justin Trudeau. Like, when he sees the bank accounts, like, you're just fucking pathetic. And the fact that you have no fucking backbone, and has he shut down your fucking country and seized bank accounts? You ask me some stupid shit like that, go fuck yourself. Move the fuck on, man.
I feel like that doesn't really answer the question, but I did want to ask also things you said about the trans community. You said this past October, when they announced the Bud Light sponsorship, that you'd go so hard on Bud Light in your next fight, they'll have to accept me or denounce me when they know what, and we'll know what they stand for. Are you?
This guy's like, this Canadian's not that Canadian.
Are you still going to use your fight time to kind of speak on that?
Here's the thing about Bud Light. 10 years ago, to be trans was a mental fucking illness. And now all of a sudden, people like you have fucking weaseled your way into the world. You are an infection. You are the definition of weakness. Everything that is wrong with the world is because of fucking you. And the best thing is the world's not buying it. The world's not buying your fucking bullshit you're fucking peddling. The world is not saying, you know what? You're right. Fucking chicks have dicks. The world's not saying that. World's saying.
Sorry, that one had me rolling a little bit. That one had me rolling a little bit. All right, let's continue.
There are two genders. I don't want my kids being taught about, who they could fuck in school. I don't want my kids being taught about, their sexual preference.
See, this is, and once again, isn't this something we should all agree on? Shouldn't we all agree that, like, kids don't need to be taught about that? Isn't that a non-controversial issue? What is controversial about that? See, that it all, like, they always hide the ball. They always try, oh, you're transphobic, homophobic. No, I'm saying stay away from the children, right? Stay away from the children. I think we should all agree on that. Like, that should be a universal principle. Let's continue.
Like, dude, this guy is the fucking enemy. You want to look at the fucking enemy to our world? It's that motherfucker right there. asking these stupid fucking questions. Sorry, I told the UFC I was being nicer. Lance, am I still good with this? Did I cross any lines? A little. What the fuck? I didn't say the F word. You just brought this fucking guy in here to piss me off.
You just did, but just to follow up, I mean, Rick.
Did I say it?
You just did.
No, I didn't say it.
Right there, you did.
Different F word. Yeah. I'm trying to be good, man. I'm trying to be good. I like the fucking gays. Everything. I've never.
So here you go. So here's the part where they clipped this part out. So this is the part that they left out. That's why I want to play the end here, because they left out this part. Let me play.
You guys think I've ever shit on a gay man or shit on a gay one? I like the gays. It's fucking freedom. We still have it in America. We'll teach you about it. You guys don't have fucking freedom of speech. I'm surprised what I'm saying is probably gonna get the fucking Canadian government to arrest me. So I don't give a fuck who you fuck. I don't give a fuck what you want to do in life. But don't fucking tell kids about it. Don't teach that shit in fucking school. Don't fucking push your agenda. Don't try to fucking brainwash people. Don't try to go past parents. Don't try to go up past all this shit and brainwash people, you fucking cuck.
Sorry, but the last one right there, dropping the hard C at the end. They didn't show that. Did get a hard C. By the way, we're totally going to get demonetized. So guys, if you could please smash the like button, I would appreciate it, because we're going to get so demonetized on this one. But that said, thank you, Bella Stella, for helping out the demonetization drive here with 20 Legal Mindset memberships. Bella, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much over there in the UAE. I hope you are well, and I hope everything is really good with you. And thank you for supporting today and yesterday. And a quick shout out to everybody who was helped out by Bella. That is Kendon, Michael David, Kyle Powers, Weethy Man, Baron Von Tossington, Cyprian Cole, DZ3, SD62, P Swag, Connie, Ozamora, Robert Frey, Eric Fungoblin, Barney Fief, Robin Parrish, That Service Dog Show, Forbidden Ruin, Schla, Jay, and Tyler. Thank you guys now you guys are all members, so please thank Bella. So there we go. So yeah, guys, just smash the like button, and I will much appreciate it for our demonetization here. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure that did it. Yep, that immediately did it. So that video immediately did it. There were enough F-bombs in that one. I think this is a review that's going to get denied, guys. I'm just throwing it out there. Speaking of getting denied YouTube reviews, hey, Uncivil Law, how's it going? Good to see you in the chat. Good to see you in the chat, Kurt. Hope you're doing well. Also, 5 gifts from Mike So, dropping the hard 5, the Cinco, ESPN the Cinco. Michael Jennings, Akiris, Archie Mitchell, Jay Examoon, say thank you to Mike So. And then Scorpion Black Dragon giving a giant black 20. And that is hard memberships in the chat. Say thank you, all those that got those as well. Ross Taylor, Robert, Anonymity, let's see, Romano Grey Wolf, Keebler, James, Ron Crossman, Bull Rush, KW, Rules, Cribe, Andy Ranch, Jake CB, Glade, Valentino, and the Admiral. All of you guys do it. Is this live for 2? Says demonetize this. That's right. For Canadian 2. Really sticking it to Trudeau there with the Canadian 2. Really sticking it to Trudeau there with the Canadian 2. Appreciate that. And shout out to all my base Canadians. There's actually a lot, because I think Canada's like really red pilling people in the sense of waking them up to the truth of what's going on, because it's, I was listening to economic forecast the other day, and they were talking about the growth of Canada in relationship to the US and other developed countries. And it's fractional. Right? It's like at a time in which it should have been significant. It was, I believe, like a third or a fifth of what it was. It was really, really, really crazy. One dickhead sends $10 for the fun. Thank you so much. And really for the fun is this live with 50 Legal Mindset memberships. Guys, make sure you accept them. Click on it, say accept gift memberships. Have the settings on so we can have that sea of green in the chat. Thank you so much. For that is this live, staying absolutely based, and this stream keeping it fully monetized in terms of memberships, which is a big shout out here to Viper, Tara, Rogues Gallery, Jay, Samuel, Laura, J Chan, Mr. Pitt, Ghost Bear, Mediocre Games, Pocus Smasher, Alyssa Heaton, The Dead Man's Ghost, Lee Monger, Andrew, Too Many Thoughts, Elijah, Philip, Stephen, Patrick, who else we got? Cynthia, Safoon, oh gosh, so many. Jake, Lime Pet, Metal Burner, Introspector, Preserving Light, MJ, all of you guys, please say thank you. And Rugrat 98 and Lazy Tom say, and Happy Year and Craft Beer Guy, and also Forgotten Prime. Also, all you guys say thank you to Is This Live. He hooked all y'all up. Man, working my vocal cords today. Amazing. Let's see. Ted Park says it's actually bad you have to worry about the thought police. Is Justin Castro more detestable for his censorship or his cowardly leadership? Censorship. The biggest risk we have, the most existential risk we have as a global community is the suppression of freedom of speech. And the problem with Canada's laws is they reach outside of Canada. They reach to social media. So if social media wants to operate in Canada, it's got to have the thought police rules applied to it. That's the problem. See, all these laws, we always think, oh, it's just in Germany or it's just in Canada or just in France. No, these laws are applied globally because of social media. And if they want to operate in those countries, they have to change the rules. They have to operate differently. We're seeing this with X, where they're literally trying to silence speech on X through the European rules and regulations. This is something that is coming to impinge on our American freedom of speech. And as Americans, and look, I say this for American companies, and I love my foreign brothers, and I know a lot of you guys also agree with freedom of speech, but we have to plant our giant Star-Spangled Banner and say, look, we are sticking up for this, and the American government needs to fight for freedom of speech. And I hope we get a president back that is a violent advocate, and I mean that in a legal sense, for freedom of speech. I hope that we get a president that when they come into office places sanctions on any country that censors our freedom of speech, heavily sanctions them. So you know what? Hey, Canada, you're going to do that? Guess what? Maple syrup tariff. How do you like that, buddy? How do you like that? Hey, France, you're going to do that? Yeah, that wine? Yeah, we're talking about a 500% tariff to clear up those freedom of speech issues. Let's get on that. Let's get serious about our rights in America. Let's fight for what matters, right? Instead of fighting for some bullshit, okay? Instead of fighting over pronouns, let's fight over something that actually matters. Nicholas Cruiser, Riser says, we have the biggest, greatest, firmest, and hardest and most base members and kind people here. Thank you for gathering us. A cult leader, Andrew. Yes, my cult leader ability. Gosh, yes, I'm such a right-wing cult leader. That's totally what I am over here on the Legal Mindset. Just absolutely radicalizing all of you. I absolutely love it. All right, so let's get into it here with old Ronnie D, and the main topic today, which is talking about Ronnie D stepping down as president and some of the things that have come from that. So here we go. Let's check out his resignation here for those that may or may not have seen it. Right, here's old Ronnie D's 2 minutes stepping down, and pay attention because there's a very important endorsement in this message.
I am today suspending my campaign.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, once seen as Donald Trump's biggest threat for the Republican presidential nomination, dropped out of the primary race on Sunday, a relatively early exit that underlines the iron grip the former president still holds on the party.
If there was anything I could do to produce a favorable outcome, more campaign stops, more interviews, I would do it. But I can't ask our supporters to volunteer their time and donate their resources if we don't have a clear path to victory.
DeSantis made the announcement in a video posted to the X social media site, endorsing Trump.
I forgot this is
and
a summary
attacking
video.
the last Republican in the race with a shot at the presidential nomination, Nikki Haley.
Okay, yeah. Sorry for this summary version because this guy is totally a beta. Nikki has no shot. So that is wrong. Just let me clear that up real quick. I don't want any misinformation here in the chat.
It's clear to me that a majority of Republican primary voters want to give Donald Trump another chance. I signed a pledge to support the Republican nominee, and I will honor that pledge. He has my endorsement because we can't go back to the old Republican guard of yesteryear, a repackaged form of warmed over corporatism that Nikki Haley represents.
So absolutely felting. So on the way out, the most important thing to me there is on the way out, absolutely nuking Nikki Haley while endorsing Donald Trump. See, this was surprising to me. Like on the way out, just making sure to drop a thermonuclear missile on Nikki Haley, just calling out her corporatism and endorsing Trump in his resignation speech without any further ado, which to me was pretty shocking. I was actually pretty surprised by that. And even more surprised was when I turned over here and I saw Trump's reaction to this, which is I think, perhaps not shocking, perhaps shocking. I'll play this for you. This is in Rochester just today. And let me actually rewind it.
Before we begin, I'd like to take time to congratulate Ron DeSantis and, of course, a really terrific person who I've gotten to know, his wife, Casey, for having run a great campaign for president. He did. He ran a really good campaign, I will tell you. It's not easy. They think it's easy doing this stuff, right? It's not easy. But as you know, he left the campaign trail today at 3 p.m. And in so doing, he was very gracious and he endorsed me. So I appreciate it. I appreciate that. And I also look forward to working with Ron and everybody else to defeat crooked Joe Biden. We will have to get him out. We have to get him out. He's put our country at great peril, at great peril. So I just want to thank Ron and congratulate him on doing a very good job. It's a tough situation. It's a tough thing to do. I'm thrilled to be here in the home of the first in the nation primary. Do you know why you're first in the nation? Because of me. I kept you there, unlike Biden. I kept you there.
And in case that escapes you, that's because it's very important for New Hampshire to be that first position. But Biden actually wants to skip New Hampshire because, well, he believes he may not do that well in New Hampshire and wants to go to a more favorable state. That's a big deal. That's a big deal, screwing over New Hampshire, which is something that certainly Trump is not doing. By the way, and Eclair Trio said it in the chat, but Trump also went out and he was asked later, are you going to still call him Ron DeSanctimonious? He's not. He's retiring the name. He said it's officially retired. So the DeSanctimonious is retired as well. So RIP DeSanctimonious. Now, following that, I think the biggest surprise to me was some of the meltdown on Twitter. This is a very it's a lot of cope for some of the folks that were super all in on DeSantis. And look, I try not to get too radical when I take a view. I leave the door open for me to be wrong. And there were some people, and certainly some people on the internet that were so in for DeSantis that they actually said they were going to quit the internet and quit social media. For example, Bill Mitchell. Bill Mitchell had said originally he was going all in. He said, unless DeSantis wins the GOP nomination, I will quit social media and politics forever. Right. So he comes back today as DeSantis steps down and says, I will not be quitting social media. Trump cannot win. And if he is the nominee on November 5th, we lose the White House, Senate, and everything. So there's work to do. Either get DeSantis into the VP slot or RFK as president and protect Congress. A lot of cope there from those that are on that quote unquote never Trump train. But what always is shocking to me is, the folks that want to be on a never Trump train, but yet your nominee, the person you supported, just endorsed Trump. So how do you, I don't get it. I mean, I guess if you have your individual right to vote for whoever you want, but like your nominee is saying, I endorse this person. So is your nominee not that good because they said they endorsed them? Like, what's going on with that? Sounds a lot like a Nikki Haley supporter. I agree. So another thing I needed to address following this new news is this all due to Disney? So as Ron DeSantis stepped down, look what CNN had to say here. So CNN had some very interesting take here about DeSantis and stepping down. Let's listen in.
Yeah. Yeah. And Matt, I wonder, in terms of tactics, Ron DeSantis spent a lot of time in the run up to the primaries and caucuses getting underway, going after wokeism, going after targets like Walt Disney. And at the end, he went from Space Mountain to It's a Small World. I mean, it just did not work. And I wonder, does that message really just not resonate with Republicans as much as maybe folks think on social media and the sort of towel snapping corners of the far right? It just doesn't resonate with voters. Yeah.
So first of all, CNN's a bunch of losers. So let's just establish that real quick. But I don't think, to me, and shifting over this to the Disney analysis, right? I don't think Disney had a thing to do with this. But yet, and you see a lot of people, and I saw some memes out there, people posting, oh, Disney won. This is Disney winning because he stepped down. 100% fake news. Remember who filed the lawsuit in Florida. It was Disney, not DeSantis. At no point was that a central part of his campaign. In fact, I think he would have preferred for it not to be a central part of his campaign. And furthermore, it's not over. Disney may actually still lose this. And what I'm very glad to see is that the majority of people, including people on the Trump side of the aisle, have come around to understand the Disney argument, have come around. Even the hardcore Trumpers have come around that were originally, by the way, sorry, there were some people that originally, and let me clarify some history here. Originally, when DeSantis came out and nominated himself for what said he was running for president, right? When he came out and announced his running for president, a lot of people on the Trump side came out and attacked him on the Disney issue and brought up free speech. But they didn't understand what the actual issue was, what the actual First Amendment issue was. And I educated many of them. I know that, for example, Robert Barnes didn't really know much about it at the beginning, watched my videos, got educated, and felt that he, was reoriented on the issue and came around to it. And in fact, you saw a lot of folks that supported Trump also coming around to it, getting educated on it and kind of dropping that issue. So when they say, is it about the Disney issue? Well, I think everybody's come around to say, no, Disney is a bad woke corporation and we're all against that. I think that's a uniter. I think if there's something that unites people, it's that we don't want big corporations pushing their propaganda on children. I think that Disney is very much a uniter. And I think that's something that bears out in social media, and especially bears out as you look across platforms, YouTube, Twitter, everywhere else. It's pretty much agreed that if you say woke corporation or extreme leftist corporation, Disney is literally the first corporation that comes to mind now. David Remain for Aussie 5 says, does suspending means he can start it again if something happens to Trump? I mean, by technicality, I guess, but that's what pretty much everybody does when they're stopping their campaign, right? So they're ceasing their campaign. So technically, if something happened to Donald Trump, technically he could be, because he also already had results in Iowa, he could be a nominee, right? So if we're talking about like hypothetical situations here, something happens to Donald Trump, Vivek could be a nominee, Ron DeSantis could be a nominee. It could happen, right? It could happen. It's possible. And certainly Nikki Haley would love that, because it's only a race between Nikki and Trump, which is what Vivek's point was, and which is why I am praying that Trump is well taken care of. Let's put it that way, that he's well isolated from any sort of issues, legal and otherwise. But yes, he could technically still be the Republican nominee. I think that's almost an improbable, like to the point it's so improbable as to be unlikely. But it's a good point, and thank you. I really appreciate those. Like, technically, legally, is this possible? Yes, it does. So going further on the Disney issue, I want to drop this next piece which is, I think, even more spicy, which is from DSNY Newscast. So these guys, and shout out to WW Pro because he actually responded to this. But I want to get this out here because obviously Disney and the Disney simps are quick to jump on anything. So Pop Base said he dropped out of the 2024 race. So just dropping news here. Disney Newscast says, I hope that when history looks back, it is seen for what it was. His war on Disney was one big publicity stunt to gain national attention for a presidential bid. And all the drama, removing Reedy Creek to punish Disney, got him nothing in the end. Absolutely not. Clearing out one of the biggest corrupt governments, in fact, one of the last corporate kingdoms, last corporate towns in all of the United States, the most strong corporate town. That's why the corporate kingdom was so apt. They could do whatever they wanted to do. Clearing that out will be seen for what it is, as correcting an error of the past. This should have been cleaned up 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. Reedy Creek should never have been allowed to go this long when they did not build the experimental prototype community of tomorrow. And I don't think that had anything to do with the presidential bid. I think this is something that would have happened regardless of whether Ron DeSantis ran for president. And you'll see here today, I hope that what I truly do hope is that in the Disney case, with the actual court case itself, we get a lot more focus on the actual case now that now that Ron DeSantis is back singularly focusing on Florida. In fact, if anything, I do believe that him running for president actually distracted him from Floridian issues. I think Ron DeSantis, in comparative, national versus Florida, he does a lot better job in Florida doing Florida stuff. So focus on Florida stuff, focus on fixing the Disney issue, focus on bringing criminal charges against Disney executives, against former RCID officials. Focus on that. Focus on bringing Bob Iger in on RICO charges. That will be very productive. That will be very helpful. It is not helpful to waste, obviously, much further time on presidential hopes, right? On a campaign which we know has reached its conclusion, right? Certainly not important. And we need strong governors. We need them. It's important. Leprechaun Gold for $10. Thank you so much. And guys, make sure you are smashing the like button here today. So I'm going to look up real quick to give you guys an update because somebody asked for a lawsuit update. So I will do that for you guys live here right now because once again, the lawsuit has not gone anywhere. The case has not been dropped. It is still going. And my prediction is, particularly the Florida case, may be going for another 6 months, could even be 8 months, because Disney is so good at delay. They're so good at procedure. So this case to me is not going to go anywhere. And certainly Ron DeSantis has a lot of time to litigate this case to a conclusion. He doesn't need to rush this. He doesn't need to go fast or anything else. He just needs to, continue along this path. So let me pull up a couple things here that you guys can see for the case. So here we go. I'm going to stop sharing this and pull up the actual case. So this is the current status of the case. So this is, of course, the Florida case filed in Orange County, Florida, the Central Florida Tourism District versus Walt Disney Parks and Resorts. Of course, Ron DeSantis is not a party to this. He is not a party to this. And in this, we've had a lot of filings. We have a lot of depositions. Now, all these depositions here are depositions of Disney or former RCID employees. So the important thing with these depositions is we are finally going to get information from Disney, and finally it's going to be unearthed how much Disney is withholding and kind of the depth that they may be in trouble with the Florida Attorney General. So these depositions are on the book. But in addition to those depositions, we also have a fight over discovery. Now, the issue with discovery has been that Disney is trying to get a ton of documents. They're trying to do essentially a mass public records request and have them produce an inordinate amount of information, including information that's near impossible, if not completely impractical to receive. They asked for an overly broad amount of documents, a ton of documents. So what they have done here is they are trying to set a hearing on Disney's motion to compel discovery. So this is the motion and really the reason why they filed all those separate public records claims, which will be consolidated into this case, I guarantee, as well as seeing, okay, what do they need to produce and what do they need to not produce? So this is happening in just a day or so, right? Tuesday, January 3rd at 8:30 a.m. EDT. So I guess today's the 22nd, right? For you guys, that's tomorrow. So tomorrow we have this hearing, and I do not believe these are something that comes out. We don't get the recordings of these, but we will get the result and any ruling or anything that's coming out of these meetings. So we should look forward to that. And I will, of course, keep you guys updated on the results of this hearing. And we also have some supplemental information that has been filed in addition with the court, which is just different document production requests that have been placed. So you can see all kind of these files here that they have dropped on the courts. These are all different public records requests, right? So they filed all of these things with the court. Now, that's going to be a huge thing because if they do order them to produce documents, they're going to give a very specific timeline. They're going to give requirements. And if they don't produce those documents, and there can be penalties. But I do think that they will be able to produce them, or they'll have a reason for not producing them, such as, hey, these documents were in the hands of John Classy, the former district administrator, who is in the pocket of Disney, who is an ally of Disney. What I think we may get from these depositions is the fact that Disney allies are withholding information, and they are the ones that have the documents that they haven't turned over. And this may ultimately just be a delay tactic on the part of Disney. And my thought is that they absolutely are trying to delay, because the longer this thing goes, the more they can hope to find a settlement, the more they can hope to try to settle it. Although I think DeSantis should go for the gullet and go all the way on this case in terms of both criminal and even civil penalties in this case. So this is one that is absolutely not going anywhere. We are also waiting on the federal case, on a ruling in the federal case. We do not have that yet, but we are expecting that in the coming weeks. So that is something that is coming in the coming weeks. And mind you, even if DeSantis wanted to drop the Disney case, he could not drop the federal case because it was filed by Disney. Bob Iger and Bob Iger alone controls the federal case, which was the first case filed. And I guarantee if there was a point at which they wanted to sit down, talk it out, settle it, get it done, they would have done that. But they have not done that at all. I don't think, if we're thinking back at Ron DeSantis's campaign and, hey, was Ron DeSantis affected by Disney? What I can say about that is Ron DeSantis and his campaign was affected by Ron DeSantis. He wasn't very charismatic. He didn't have a good grasp of national policy. And his attacks on the other candidates, particularly Donald Trump, came up pretty flaccid. In fact, the only thing that really happened of note was his supporters on Twitter got particularly vile and particularly aggressive. But other than the folks on Twitter, which I truly believe are a special bunch, or a minority, are 5 to 10 folks that are just very active on X. Aside from those folks, I think the majority of normal DeSantis voters will ultimately end up forking over to Donald Trump. And ultimately, I can actually see Trump championing the Disney lawsuit, i.e., Ron DeSantis taking down Disney in Florida, because now that it seems they've repaired this relationship, now that Donald Trump has said, I look forward to working together, imagine if Trump wins and DeSantis, in collaboration with Trump, has an IRS and SEC investigation of Disney. Because, guys, I have laid this out. The prima facie, the on its face case has already been laid out for both the IRS, the SEC, to come in and investigate them and potentially hit them with criminal penalties. Now, I have my premiere that's coming out very shortly. My premiere shows how a tax expert has now confirmed what I've been saying, what Mexican Iron Man has been saying, what everybody else has been saying, that Disney and their board at Reedy Creek mishandled taxes and did not report what they should have. Clearly, under IRS regulations, they should have known. Anybody who knows anything about taxes at all whatsoever should have known. And for an administrator to pretend they didn't know and do this for decades is potentially criminal. And shout out to Sean, by the way. We've been talking behind the scenes, which is always fun. But also hello to everybody else in the chat. And make sure to smash the like button here. We got 506 of you in the chat, and I definitely appreciate each and every one of you. And over there on Rumble, we've got 114. Looks a little laggy on Rumble. Let me make sure everything's working over there. But okay, now I'm seeing everybody. It wasn't updating the chat for some reason. Really weird over there on Rumble. But appreciate everybody on all of the platforms, including on Locals, which is also sometimes kind of glitchy. Now, real quick, guys, what I have, I want to give you guys a little bit of a prediction here. I'm going to be doing some videos, and I wanted to do a video tonight, but I felt the Ron DeSantis stuff needed to come out about the airlines, because a lot of you have asked me to do one on the airlines. But I think we've got enough time. Let me just do this. I want to react to the Dan Crenshaw video, and I want to do that kind of live for you guys here today. Okay, so this is one that a lot of you guys asked me to react to. You asked me to talk about this one. So I want to talk about this video. Now, I am no fan of Dan Crenshaw. A lot of folks know that Dan Crenshaw has had some really bad positions. He has really bad positions on foreign policy, really bad positions on red flag laws. He, actively the active results are the stripping of people's Second Amendment rights, also their First Amendment rights. So he has a lot of bad positions, but something bad happened to him personally. And look, when it comes to people's political policy positions, I can disagree with them, but that doesn't mean they have the right to have their personal rights trampled on. So if you guys listen up here to what happened to him on a United flight that he was taking.
I have a question for United Airlines CEO Scott Kirby. No, it's not about the videos of you in drag or even your DEI woke hiring comments. Okay, it's actually.
So I'll say real quick here is that he should be concerned about the DEI part. That actually should be concerning, because a lot of the behavior that you see here is as a result of the woke DEI policies. And you can even see the woman who creates the problem. Look at her in the video. She's wearing a mask, right? And understand that what does DEI do? Whenever you have DEI, the quality drops. Customer service drops. When you do not hire people based on merit, the quality drops. Just understand that. Understand that. Let's continue with this video.
About this specific video. And I want to know if it's United policy for your agents to grab passengers, pets, and property. Let's see this video. So what you're watching here is you're seeing a nice young lady and her mother traveling with two small dogs.
That's
and
his
an infant.
family.
And you're about to see a crazed, unhinged United ticketing agent reach in and grab the dog, start ripping things off of the dog's bag while my wife tries to stop them. You can see it right there. Now, You might be thinking, okay, Dan, there must have been a lot leading up to this. Maybe they were yelling at, maybe they had a good reason. Well, here's the thing. We have the whole video. I have the whole video from multiple angles. That woman in the video is actually my wife. She was trying to push away my 2-month-old infant daughter away from the unhinged United agent. And as they were pushing them out, getting out of the terminal, she reached in and grabbed her property, grabbed our dog. So why would
that woman there is wearing a mask. The blonde Karen employee was wearing a mask.
she do that? We have the whole video from multiple angles. The video is kind of boring. It's only about 10 minutes long. And really the only purpose in showing it is to show you that my wife and her mom acted very calmly. See, they're much nicer people than I am. If somebody told me my dog couldn't fly, I'd be pretty upset because he's flown about 500 times throughout his life.
I wish Dan Crenshaw was as angry about the dog as he is about Second Amendment rights or First Amendment rights or other things, but just throwing that out there.
Not too big to fly. I know a lot of you have this kind of problem, especially with United Airlines, but that's kind of besides the point because my wife acquiesced. She said, all right, fine. This is really annoying. You're destroying my plans right now. They were supposed to be coming to meet me. But fine, we'll book a flight on Southwest. So that video just really shows her mostly turning her back to the agent, hands at her side, pushing her phone out. She's just trying to look for another flight on Southwest because, they're nice people. At a certain point, though, within that 10 minutes, one thing you'll see here is my wife has to take the dog and remove him from the unhinged United agent. Why is she doing that? Because even though they said that they were going to get a different flight, they were done, they're not checking in, it's over. The United agent wanted to take our dog out of the bag. She wanted to get the dog, photograph him, and report my wife so they could never fly again. I mean, it was completely unhinged. And my wife said, no, of course not. You're not touching my dog. You already told us we can't fly, so we're just going to leave. And that's what they try to do. You see in the video, they're trying to leave. And that woman reaches her hand right inside my dog's bag and starts ripping things out of it, out of her mind. So there's more to this story, of course.
Yeah, see right there, and that's the photo right there. You see her wearing the mask, right? It's the one right there. Okay, so then he ends up talking to their VP of airport operations at United. Mind you, this is a United flight.
They did. Now I got a bad feeling about him right from the beginning. I'm thinking I need to record this conversation. And that's exactly what I did. And I'm legally allowed to do that in Texas. It's a one-party consent state. Sorry, United. And so I did. And I started off very simple. You can have the whole recording. United has the recording. And I say, look, I just want 3 things. I want a video of what happened. I want to know what your regulations are with respect to customer interaction. Here's his response. I mean, just right off the bat. Let's listen.
What I'm getting from you and your wife and customers like you all every single day. Yeah, and you treat them all the same. Let's go.
Yeah, I deal with people like you and your wife and customers like you every single day.
What magical customer service. That, I mean, once again, when you're hiring from the bottom of the barrel, that's what you get.
Let's go. It's combat to him. He hates me for sure. Like that was obvious, right? He knows who I am, hates my guts. It's so obvious the contempt that guy has for customers. Philip goes on to chastise me, lie about what my wife's actions were. He called her handsy, called her agitated.
Your wife was handsy. She was agitated from the very start.
Said that his agent was calm with her hands by her side the entire time. I said, okay, well, let's just see the video. Because at this point, I had not seen the video, so I wasn't really sure. And so he finally brings in a guy to show us United's version of the video. They have their own cameras. I don't know what they were hoping for. I don't know what they think that was in that video. I think he hadn't watched it yet, to be honest. Step by step, it shows exactly what my wife said it would show. It shows the initial incident. It shows them trying to get Joey out of the bag. It shows my wife saying, no, I'm taking Joey's our dog, away from this situation. And then it shows the last part where Angela commits assault against.
Might as well be Karen. My
dog, grabs our property. At that point, I'm pretty happy.
It's kind of and by the way, that's a misstatement of the law. So, -1 point for Dan there. That's not assault against the dog. There's no assaulting the dog. I gotta be very clear about that. Dog is not a person, right? I know some people think they're people. A A dog is not a person. You can't assault a dog. You can assault a person. And maybe there's assault of the wife, right? Because that she went in there and like came past the wife, right? So maybe there's something going on with the wife or the mother, but you can't assault the dog. So L on legal knowledge for Dan there, but let's continue.
Because, you know, hey, it looks like my wife's version of the story was the absolute correct one. Looks like Philip was lying. Looks like Angela was lying. Looks like United Airlines was lying. And I say, right there in the effing video. And of course, you know how you're like not allowed to curse around airline agents. He flips out. Listen to this.
There it is. It's literally exactly how my wife described it. My wife starts to push our infant away from the situation. They're trying to leave. Karen, behind her back, jumps in to grab our dog. It's on the fucking video. Are you cursing at me? Oh, is that a little loud? Yeah, it's not allowed. Okay, sorry. I apologize. Oh, so you can tell me to shut up. Wait. You can tell me to shut up, but okay, sorry. Oh, ooh. Did you just for the record, he is violently grabbed the laptop away.
Okay, so I guess he grabbed his laptop. Yeah.
Look at him. He's telling me to shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. I'm like, oh my God, sorry if I offended your delicate sensibilities. We've all been in that situation where, like, you know, you're a bad thing.
Okay, so I'll stop it there because he kind of rants there at the end. But look, is that right? No. Is there potential assault? Maybe against the wife, possibly, right? Not against the dog. Is there potential like conversion there, like attempted theft? You know, potentially, yeah. There might be some like trespass against property, some sort of. And once again, I'm not a Texas lawyer. You know, actually, is Uncivil still around? Uncivil probably knows the Texas crimes better than I do. But certainly, there's some crimes there related to the attempted taking of their property because a dog is not a person; it's property. It's property. And in Dan's defense, Dan said it correctly in the beginning. Only later, when he used the word Joey, when he started calling the dog Joey, did he convert it that way. Potential as well, animal cruelty, animal endangerment as well. Yes, that's also true. It's also true. Snatching the laptop could also be potentially battery or assault, depending on how that went down, depending on the nature of it, depending on if he hit him to get there. So there's some issues there. Look, I am not a fan of Dan Crenshaw. I make this very clear. Not a fan of Dan Crenshaw. However, I protect everybody's rights equally, and I don't think anybody deserves their rights infringed upon, even by a woke corporation, especially by a woke corporation, especially not by a woke corporation like United. I will even defend rhinos that I don't like Dan Crenshaw, against the overreach of corporations and the woke insanity of United. So yeah, just throwing that out. I'll even defend them. Uncivil says he does not know the finer points of laws that apply to dogs in Texas. What are you doing? Are you even barred in Texas? What are you doing, Kurt? If you do not know dog law, are you even a real lawyer? Brian Gibson says, wait, is this live? Yes, it is indeed live. We are live right now, though we're wrapping up right here today. Make sure you smash the like button here. And we are at 534. Let's get over 300. We have 292 likes. Let's get over that. Scorpion says, DeSantis, Trump, Disney, IRS, SEC is short to share. It will be amazing if that happens. And he doesn't need to name DeSantis as his VP. In fact, I don't want DeSantis as his VP. I think there's better picks as VP than DeSantis. I think there's better options as VP than DeSantis. I think DeSantis needs to stay in Florida, handle Florida, clean it up. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be fixed there. A lot of people that need to be corrected in Florida. So focus on doing that. I think we will all be better for it. Henry K says, can there be federal penalties to any group who take donation monies from Disney? Not yet, but if they were convicted of a crime, then that makes it more complicated. So let's say there was a group that was assisting Disney in perpetrating one of those crimes they might be convicted of in the future. That could be a problem, but of course we're not there yet. That's all hyper speculative, but we'll be covering it on The Legal Mindset. That said, guys, my premiere is dropping in just 2 minutes. So I am going to send you guys over there to watch that premiere. Go hang out with me in the chat, and I will catch you tomorrow at around the same